Ahoy everyone, and welcome back to our monthly episode of SSL. Although with this episode I've got a different kind of adventure for you that with your support will continue on with much more frequent episodes. All I need from you is after the video just leave me your thoughts in the comments below. But before we get started, I'd like to address some of the comments in the last video about the issues we were having with our anchor chain.
As you can see here, these two links here have been there for maybe almost a year, but we needed to check all the links, and we found, of course, these two right at the anchor, at the swivel, are severely worn just because of all the pivoting we've been doing and reversing winds. So look at that, that's very, very thin. So we've lost a lot of integrity there in those first links.
Which of course meant I had to remove these few links at the head of the chain, and that led a lot of you to comment that this was simply a matter of galvanic corrosion, which in fact it likely was. But what I want you to keep in mind is that I have been using these stainless steel swivels in my ground tackle since 2018, and my last chain suffered no issues here whatsoever. But that of course because the old chain held on to its galvanizing for a much longer time. If you look here in our anchor locker, you can see that this is not an isolated piece of chain that's lost its galvanizing. Almost all of the chain has completely lost its galvanizing, and that's just after 2 years. Every time we drop this chain in the water while deploying our anchor, there's a continuous cloud of rust that dissolves off the chain as it's entering the water, which of course means every single time we put it in the water, we're losing metal. But instead of continuing to complain about it, I decided to research what was going to be next. Because since I moved aboard Sophisticated Lady, I've changed the chain 4 times, and I'm getting tired of having this steel chain dissolve while I sleep. Somewhere in the grapevine, I heard that my old friends at Mantus Marine were now carrying anchor chain, so it took me all of about 30 seconds to get online and find out if that was true. Happily, it was, and I started doing some research right away. Because if there's one thing you guys know about me and Mantus Marine, I have tested almost all of their products and found them all to be top-notch, including my favorite life-saving accessory on the boat, which is our 125-pound stainless steel M1 Mantus anchor. If they could finally help me find a long-term solution to this anchor chain issue, I'm all in, trust me. So I started researching their website and found they were carrying CROMOX, which is a German manufacturer represented locally in the US. The guys at Mantus put me in touch with CROMOX so I could find answers to any questions I wanted to ask. So if you guys also want to do some research and put your opinions in the comments, I'd be very interested to hear what you think as well. So I'll keep you posted on that in the near future, but for now, let's get back to our next adventure. Thanks again for watching, guys. You know we appreciate it.
You look at me, I know you see my knees go weak, trying to keep it together.
Hey girl, I never ever thought we'd be, I never ever thought I'd see. Then I saw your smile. Oh, we can go across the oceans and see the world tonight. Oh, say hello to the mountains and watch the new sunrise. But no matter what the country, the city, the street, by land or by sea, together forever is my favorite place to be.
Okay, so we are coming around the point in Cartagena, just coming in to Manzanillo Marina. This would be Manzanillo Isla, right beside us on our port side. So we're between mainland and the island, and that's the marina right there. You can see this, the wall surrounding the boatyard, and the marina slips out front. We're going to be going around this power boat and to the end of the T-dock at the other end. Oh, nice. These are all the boats that the Armada uses to train new sailors. What?
Armada República Colombia is
ARC?
ARC.
ARC, Armada Republic Colombia. Okay. Almost there. ¿Todo bien?
So here we are, right smack dab in the middle of the industrial sector of Cartagena, Colombia. And why are we in the industrial sector, you ask? Well, because we've been searching for a good place to haul out Sophisticated Lady for some much needed and much overdue repairs. I had interviewed several of the boat haul-out facilities here in Cartagena before making our final decision. In the end, we decided on this facility called Manzanillo Marina, primarily because I had some very good reviews from a couple of very good friends. First one being my buddy James on Zingaro, which you may already know. He had his oyster hauled out here a year or two ago and had it completely refit, including a custom paint job, and he couldn't say enough great things about the facility, the people, and the manager Maurice, who just took over the facility from his dad Mauricio, who just retired a couple years earlier, which means that it's a family business, which I find very attractive, having been in a family business for most of my life. And I would rather support a family business than a straight corporation that's just in it for the numbers, really. So I went to meet with Maurice and discuss what we needed, and brought along my other buddy JP, who most of you already know. I found Maurice very easy to deal with, very knowledgeable, and very professional. Now, at the time of the interview, we weren't really in a position to do our haul out just yet, because this goes back to last year when I was still having my surgeries. But JP decided he wanted to test the facility, so he had his boat hauled out and had a ton of work done that is just wrapping up at the same time we're hauling out, and he's going to be hauling back in. And I have to admit, I followed along on the projects as JP was getting them done, and yes, I found the work quite impressive. So we ultimately decided to have the boat hauled here, and here we are. Right from the start, the attention to detail was excellent, including having a diver in the water to put the straps in the appropriate places to make sure that nobody damaged our rudder or prop shaft, or of course any of our through hulls. I don't mind telling you that we don't expect the bottom to be in very good condition when it comes out of the water. We've been anticipating this for a long time, but our bottom paint is virtually non-existent for at least a year now. We just had a diver clean the bottom 2 weeks ago, but we know that growth happens very fast in Cartagena Harbor. So I don't know what we're gonna see, but I don't think it's gonna be pretty.
Hey, here we go, guys. This is the first time the lady's been lifted out of the water since 2018. 7 years, and we're long overdue. Long anticipated. So today's been an anxious day, but she's in the lift. We're securing the straps now, and then we'll start to raise it up and put her on land for the first time in a long time. She's going to be sitting here for almost 3 months. So here we go. Let the adventure begin.
2 weeks. Can you just imagine what it would look like after a month, guys? I mean, wow. I don't think I've ever seen a place where growth grows so fast. But of course, you can see our bottom paint is non-existent. It's gone. The last time we used a semi-ablative paint that's supposed to last 2 to 3 years, but here we are 7 years later.
And there's the first time our propeller has seen the light of day. 7 years also. Oh, it still feels really good. Everything working smooth. Can't really tell it's bronze. But we'll get her all polished up again. Looks good. Wow.
This time I want to try something completely different. I'm not really a big fan of these ablative paints that just leach all the chemicals into the water over time. And this is why with most ablative paints you have to replace them once a year, or at the very least every 2 years. I've been doing a lot of research on this for something more environmentally friendly, and so far we've settled on CopperCoat. It's actually more of an epoxy than a paint, but it's infused with copper, which of course is a natural element, but when it's inside the epoxy, nothing can bond to the epoxy because the copper inhibits the growth of any biological marine organisms. It won't stop them from growing there, but it makes them very easy to remove. And I'm almost positive it's going to be a big improvement from what we're used to, and it has a rated lifespan of 10 years. That's a big difference to me. But we'll have more on that later. First, we got to get her clean.
So this is where they started doing a sample polish yesterday. One spot right here. And you can see our gel coat still comes up very good, but it's had a lot of time without attention. But that's gonna look good. They did that yesterday just as a sample in about 5-10 minutes. Can only imagine the whole boat looking like that again. Gonna be nice. Can't wait.
Next day, with the scraping almost complete, it was time for the pressure wash. They do this to get off all the pieces of the microorganisms that they can't reach with the scraper. And this will take us right down to the epoxy barrier coat that we apply to the boat underneath the anti-fouling to prevent water from seeping into the hull. Once all the organisms are gone, then we can start the grinding, because we're going to take Sophisticated Lady right back to original gel coat. So all of the old anti-fouling has to come off, and the epoxy barrier coat. Then we'll get her down to the white gel coat that the hull was laid in, and that will become the base for our new CopperCoat bottom job. And this is something I've been looking forward to for a very long time. But one step at a time. Tomorrow we start the grinding, and then we see what condition the hull is actually in. Because at almost 30 years old, Sophisticated Lady has had some exposure to seawater. So hopefully everything's in good condition and we can proceed as planned.
The brand new Mahalo going in the water. She's looking spiff. Just look at that paint. Wow.
Yes, while work on Sophisticated Lady is just beginning, Mahalo is wrapping up about 2 months worth of work in the yard.
Man, that is shiny.
Including this beautiful new paint job in a light gray pearl. If you remember, Mahalo used to be navy blue, but JP always complained about it being very hot in the sun. And of course, we live in the sun, so for him it was time to cool the boat down and give it a new life and a new look. And I must say, the guys in the yard did a beautiful job. I've looked up close and personal at this paint job, and it is as close to perfect as I can imagine.
Man, it's so shiny, it's really pissing me off.
For about a week or two.
Congrats, man. Launch day, you made it.
Still not out of here yet.
Finally going in the water. 2 months later?
No, 2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
Long time, lots of work.
Not finished yet. As you can see from the tarp over the top.
Still working on the hard dodger up there. Yeah, the paint work, the bright work, everything's beautiful. Teak looks spectacular.
So all the teak has been redone completely, new bottom job, and JP also decided to replace his soft dodger with a hard fiberglass dodger. So they've got that project underway, but it's still not complete. They're going to do that while the boat's in the water. I'm going to be paying close attention to this because it's something I've been seriously considering for the lady also. The Sunbrella on our Dodger and Bimini are 9 years old, and last time I got 10 years before it started to just vaporize. I've already got quite a few bad spots where it's coming apart, so we have to decide that this year we're either going to replace the canvas or just replace with a hard fiberglass dodger that's permanent and good for the life of the boat. Just one of the projects on the list, but we'll see how it goes. So stick around because there's lots more to come yet. I'm sure the lady holds lots of surprises that we haven't discovered yet.
Hey, they got the lady all tarped up for sanding. Sounds like they're getting started. Taking down the bottom back to gel coat. Soon.
Yes, I think you guys are going to find that this is going to be one of the most extensive refits we've ever performed on Sophisticated Lady. But hey, celebrating the 20th anniversary this year and 20 years of my life aboard Sophisticated Lady, with her keeping me and my family and all her crew safe for that entire 20 years, she deserves some special attention. It's time.